Women, today I want to talk about take a stand. We're going to look at Romans chapter 12 in a few minutes. But here's the deal. In our world, all around us, there are temptations out there. Most of the movies and TV shows that we watch are encouraging us oftentimes to mistake lust for love. You know, every romantic comedy we watch is encouraging the main characters maybe to cheat on their spouse and come back to the one that they've loved all along. You know, the underlying message to most of our movies and TV shows are you only live once, so do what you want when you want to do it. But here's the problem. Buying into these messages convince us to do things that we know are wrong but seem fun in the moment maybe. And this way of thinking really stands in direct opposition to what the Bible has to say. So if you're a woman out there that desires to honor God with your life, that you want to do the things that you know are right in the sight of God, then you have to pay attention that the world around us is not encouraging us in that direction. So here's the truth. We all stand for something. We can stand for the values of this world, you know, to each his own, do what you want, do what feels good, or we can stand for God. And here's the deal. If we trust in Him and that He knows what's best for us, then any restraints we might find in the Bible that say these are the things that we should not be doing, they're for our protection. Now, I recognize choosing to honor Him may come at a cost. You may lose some friendships along the way if you're choosing not to hang out at the bars on the weekends or overindulging in alcohol, being flirtatious with men that are not your husbands. It may even be more innocent in terms of the book club that you're in with some of your friends and some of the books that they choose to read. You know the content and the information and the way it makes you think and feel, you know aren't honoring to God. It may come at a cost, but it's good and right to take a stand anyways. Now let's look at Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. Paul says here, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world. So right there we recognize that if we want to honor God with our lives, if we want to stand for God, then the behaviors and customs of this world are not the way to do that. So the natural question then is, well, how can I take a stand for God? How do I stand up for God in a world that encourages me not to think about Him or want to honor Him? Well, it starts with choosing to be transformed by the way you think. Let's go back to Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. The second part of that verse says, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. So it starts, ladies, with how we think about our lives. So let's say it this way. Evaluate what influences you in your life right now. You know, what do you watch? What are the TV shows and the movies that you fill your mind with? What are you reading? You know, what are the things that you do on the weekends and who are you spending time with? Those are all things that you need to think about. These things have an influence in your life. And are they encouraging you to stand with the world or are they encouraging you to stand with God? And here's the deal. Once you think about it the right way, once you start thinking about the filter of does this honor God or not honor God, then you need to say, well, I want to live a life that honors God. So how do I go about doing that? Well, let's go back to Romans chapter 12, verse 1. It says, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all He's done for you. Let your bodies be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind He'll find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship Him. So see, what Paul's saying here is the way we live, the things that we stand for, the things that we allow to influence us, those have a reflection then on who we are. And are we living in a way that's God honoring, that He would look at us and say, well done, good and faithful servant? Or is He looking at us with sadness because we aren't living in a way that honors Him? So how can you go about finding a life that honors God? Well, evaluate your priorities. Do you spend time in the Word? Do you spend time praying? Are you serving other people? Are you ever in Christian fellowship with people who encourage you in your walk? You see, at the end of the day, taking a stand for God is going to pay off. He will lead you toward His perfect will for your life, which will be far more rewarding than any temporary pleasure this world has to offer. So pay attention to what you're taking a stand for. Choose to stand for God. Use these questions to further evaluate that.